Hey everyone, this is John Winan. I'm going to give you my overview of the Apple reading, as well as a bit of an overview of the discourse we had as a group. So first of all, the text that we analyzed was the text in Cultural Politics by Michael Apple, and this did produce some fruitful conversation among myself and my classmates. The Apple article itself is divided into three parts. After the introduction, it goes into a section about the politics of the politics of official knowledge versus legitimate knowledge. Then the regulation of or liberation of the text, and then finally the politics of cultural incorporation. The underlying message that I feel like Apple's trying to tell us is that textbooks are specifically created based on geography and other factors, and that the primary goal is more based in corporate greed than in providing a fair and balanced education for the students that we teach. In our discussion, Beth began by expressing that she had some troubles with the idea of whose story is being told. And she gave us this great anecdotal evidence. And she talked about the fact that most of the writers of the early elementary or the elementary grade texts that she has used herself have been written by white females. And that's a problem, obviously. We should be having a wider range of people writing, and our students should be exposed to a variety of people's writings. Annie began with a quote from Quintilian, and I really like this. It says, "The role of the educator is to arrange victories for students." And after reading that, I can't help but ask, are we really doing this? Are we doing this job any justice when we rely on texts for information, which may be inaccurate, incomplete, or omit important information, events, or concepts? Are we really setting our students up for victory when we are not giving them the full picture? Annie also talked about the artist's role, which I thought was fascinating because we have to remember that if it wasn't for the artist, we would never really know what happened in ancient history, because it is the artist who depicted the world along with the first writers. Melissa reminded us that books could be both a source of domination over a minoritized group, or, on the other side, it could be used as a source of liberation for some groups. Again, it depends on the publisher's openness, and a lot of that has to do with the ideology of the decision makers. Kim shared that she feels that science should be completely apolitical, and I couldn't agree with Kim more on that. However, it's really difficult in this day and age, especially after COVID, and one of our, largest national figures right now is a health science, human health science person, and Anthony Fauci, and we have him being almost a political figure now. So it really makes things difficult. But yeah, I agree with you completely. Science should stay apolitical. One of the problems with text then, therefore, is the political slant you get. Things are either buried or hard to see. And when that happens, people don't get the full picture and they don't learn as much as they could. Kim also mentioned the inconsistencies produced when teachers use different texts, or when some teachers like myself choose not to use a text, and another teacher who's teaching that same exact course is using a text. It does produce inconsistencies that we should be aware of. Mara focused on two concepts in her post. One of those was the financial relationship between the corporations that produce the texts and the political entities. And that's a big one. There is a definite political infusion into the text. And a lot of that happens through publishing and through the weeding out of what the historians wrote when they were writing a textbook, or whatever scientist or whatever writer was writing at that time. It gets weeded out. She also mentioned the kind of haphazard way that traditionally marginalized groups of people have been thrown into text. So it's almost like here's you have your regular white text that you read for 3 pages, and then there's African American highlight or female highlight, and that further drives them out of the modern discussion. That's problematic. Mally and Chris had a great exchange about text sets replacing textbooks, and I think that's the way that we should be going. This allows the teacher to build the content around the individual student's needs, which is differentiation. Not only is it differentiation in terms of like their learning abilities, but it's differentiation in terms of like, the whole world of opportunity that's out there for them to see in an unbiased, free textbook. And lastly, we have Marissa's comment. Marissa's comment reminded me of Dr. Pabon so much because Dr. Pabon talked about the CRAP test. And when we're reading these articles that are like 20, 30 years old, I can't help but think, is there currency in this article? And while I think that there is currency in the article in the sense that, yes, a lot of these problems are still proliferating, I wonder, is that capital, is that currency diminished in any way over time? Why haven't there been more Michael Apples in more modern times writing these articles talking about what things were like in 2020, 2021 instead of 1990, 1980, 1979? All those issues that were there back then are still here today. It seems like we wrote about them through the 80s and into the 90s, and then it kind of stops. So I just kind of wonder what more is out there, if these articles that we've been reading have been reproduced in a more modern setting, how that would change things. Finally, at the very end here, I guess I wanted to say that the biggest connection, I guess, would be one that Chris made, and that is that there's a big connection between geography and what students are going to be getting in terms of text. So in conclusion, my classmates challenged using a singular text as possibly biased or lacking in information. This information or lack of information is purposely put out there by sellers of textbooks to schools. This is a multi-million-dollar industry that has a tremendous impact on our students. There's a lot of questions to be asked when considering a textbook, and I believe that Chris is on the right track when he said that we should probably start making a move toward text sets. All right, with that, thank you very much, and I hope that you're able to hear this video. Sorry I wasn't able to get D2L to allow me to do a video note. I hope this won't cause too many problems. Thank you.